Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me here. I'm Sebastian. I'm the managing director of Gartenhaus. It's obvious what we do. Yeah? What I would like to show you today is our digital approach, which is, I think, quite different from all the approaches you basically saw today, because we're working in an industry which is still very, very, very traditional. So I like the word specialist trade. It's not very good. The German word is better. It's called Fachhandel. So everybody should know that. This is what we sell. So you see, it's large, it's heavy, it's costly, and you buy it, I don't know, once or twice in your lifetime. It's garden sheds, garden houses, saunas, carports, all this kind of stuff. This is basically what we do, and I will tell you why this is quite interesting. Who are we? You saw our products. We have basically an online platform for it. We have over 50,000 SKUs, so with all the accessories and so on. We are in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. We are doing approximately something about 30 million sales. We are growing at 20-25, 30% a year. And I really like to say that we're growing profitably. So this business was profitable basically from day 1 or 2. As you see, this is our platform. Our mission is we want to become Europe's leading platform for home and garden projects. You see, basically, we started in the garden part, and we will move into all the home part with this business. Why is this interesting, or why is this not interesting for anybody else? Because it's not sexy. The word you hear most from me today is basically the word complexity or complex, because it's a complex business we're doing. This is, if you step in the shoes of our customer, and this is the customer journey, and this customer journey is a complex one. If you want to buy a garden house or a terrace or anything else, your search time on average is a month or longer before you actually buy a product. If you do shopping, our customers or the customers in this segment do multi-stop shopping. They go to a small brick-and-mortar wholesaler. They look at Amazon. They search in a DIY store. They basically contact a craftsman to do it. And this is complex, so it's not an easy one-stop shopping process right now, so it's more or less complicated, and you don't actually know where to search for, because if you enter Gartenhaus in Amazon or even in eBay, it's 35,000 SKUs. Which one is the right one for you? That's the big question. There's basically, right now in the industry, no customer focus. So if you have this 1 month being done, you have to wait 6 or 8 weeks to get your product. And if you hire a craftsman, additional 5 to 8 weeks to get a craftsman, because getting a craftsman in Germany, forget about it. And then there's budget insecurity, because you know the price of the garden house on Amazon, but you don't know the exact price of the complete project. You need a ground layering, you need the garden house, you can do it on your own, you get it done by somebody else, you need a building license, and so on and so on. So you don't know what the full project costs are. So this is our customer. For us, it was the question, is this attractive at all? We have less than 5% repurchase rate. For everybody else, this would be a nightmare. Our conversion rate is less than 0.5%. Also, normal online shop, it's a nightmare. And our product, as you saw, it's complex. The customer journey is complex. Logistics, it's bulky, heavy, 4-meter, 300-kilogram logistics with a forklift at the place of the customer. So it's not this Amazon fulfillment or whatever you can think of. But our basket is larger on average than 2,500 euros. We have less than 1% returns and claims. And the potential, as you just saw, it's a complete project for upselling, for cross-sales, for all this is quite interesting, and for us at least, it's attractive. So that's the mix of the stuff we're doing. And which is, I think, interesting for here is the traditional e-commerce approach, which is, I simplified it, yeah? It's you do some marketing spend, then you try to increase your conversion, you optimize, you talk about CLV, customer retention, and this needs to be somehow a circle. This doesn't work for us. Yeah? For us, it's first of all expertise, because we help the customer for the complete project. And even the developers in our team in Hamburg, they build garden sheds, they build carports. Yeah? So everybody in our company, we're around 40 people, has built the stuff and knows what we're doing. Yeah? Second one is consulting. You will see later on. We do a lot of consulting before purchase, after purchase, during the process, which for a normal online player wouldn't pay off. Yeah? And the third one, by doing all this, we generate trust. And trust is our main conversion driver. If somebody trusts us that we can get the project done and we are the right partner, they basically sell or buy at us. That's the important point. So this is why it's also attractive. It's really simplified, yeah? But just to get the logic, I said in Germany it's called Fachhandel. 90% of the market right now, and it's a huge market because it's the Craftable market and the basically product market, is this white space. And it's all, they are tiny wholesalers somewhere across Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. They have these really, really nice little places where you go, and basically they just sell in the surrounding area, and there are tons of them. This is still 95% of the market. Then there are people like Wayfair, Amazon, the platforms, the DIY players. We're doing mostly all of them, but it's basically, it's not a specialized business. Yeah? They don't have consulting, they don't have these logistics, they don't help you with any services, so they don't have the competence, it's just another product for them. And these, as I said, they are local, they are small, they have no digital experience whatsoever, and then that's basically us. And basically the digital share of the market right now is only 5%. So it's just 5%, even DIY is larger. And there's this whole wide untapped space we want to basically go in. That's the attractive thing for us. So just simplified, but this is why it works really well, and the products and all these garden and home projects are quite interesting. The traditional way, you have, as you saw, the stationary retailers, limited reach, limited selection, regional delivery, limited service whatsoever, and then you have the traditional e-commerce, the platforms and so on, with a web interface which is basic for all the products, basic information. It's all dropship, yeah. So you don't know where it's coming from, when it's coming, and so on. And you have to do self-assembly. I don't know if somebody of you built a larger garden shed, but it's a project, takes 2 or 3 weeks. You better have good weather, otherwise it's even messier. Yeah, there are a lot of people who like to do it, but the people who want to get it done are growing faster. Yeah? And so that's the gap or niche for us. Yeah? So we have a high traffic platform, 50,000 SKUs. I show you the service. We have our own logistics network. Yeah? As you might imagine, logistics is the biggest cost driver for us, so we do it on our own. And which is really differentiating us, we do all the services. Yeah? So if you contact us, we do the building license stuff in the beginning, and up to the end, we build your shed, and basically we leave when the complete customer journey is done, if you want it. Yeah? So there's also guarantees, 5-year whatsoever, and it's the complete project, and it's simplified for the customer. This makes it expensive for us and complicated for us because our journey doesn't stop when the product is sold and it's at the customer. Our journey stops when the product is at the customer, it's built, and the customer is fine with it. So that's quite different, but we're able to generate a high share of wallet with this. Yeah? Maybe 2 more things which might be interesting, which really sets us apart, which makes it complicated, complex for us, but which are quite different to normal e-commerce players. The one thing is we're doing private labels, and for us, these are not private labels. For us, these are basically brands. Yeah? So we established a process quite early to build brands, because Why? I can ask you the questions. Who knows WK, Caribou? 1, 2, 3. These are the largest brands in the sector, yeah? And nobody knows. Yeah? You have to be searching. You have to be experienced to know brands in this sector. It's even less than in furniture. Yeah? So this is for us was one key to say, okay, let's really build brands. As a retailer, we were starting as a retailer, and with these brands, we basically verticalized, back basically to the production process. And these on the top, as you see, are our brands. So Alpholz for the Gartenhaus part, and then we have Garden Tiger for all the smaller stuff, and Fintherm, for example, for all the saunas. And Fintherm for sauna already is in the top 3 in Germany. So still quite low brand awareness, but the whole sector really no brand awareness at all. And this makes it attractive for us. And this is why we spend time also when we just do 30 millions. But this is a big amount of time for us to build these kind of brands. And this process is basically, it's simple, but it's for us it works. When we step into a category, and we will step into more categories, we first do with third-party brands. So basically, we do dropship business, we gather our experience, and then, if we learned a lot, we build up our own facility pool. Basically, we are looking for who is producing this, somewhere in Eastern Europe, somewhere in China, Indonesia, whatsoever. And then basically we build the products on our own and basically source them in. And then we brand them. And what's attractive with all this, the margin is basically doubled. And so that's why you see that in this whole Fachhandel, there's a lot of margin still there, being able to get that. And what we started with all this also is we're selling this on all marketplaces, which is quite nice for us because there's basically nobody else who's able to do the logistics. And basically we started selling this white label to DIY players and so on. So basically we're kind of, yes, platform. Everybody says they have a platform. What we are trying just to build is a two-sided market. So on the one side it's the B2C part, and on the other side it's the B2B part we are growing. Basically to make us more relevant on both sides of the market and to give us the power and the masses to work on the margin. And that's at least for us an interesting thing and one of our USP in the industry right now. Second one, as I just said, customer service. So basically what we do, we consult the customer from a very first touch point. He has a question, he does not know which house to buy whatsoever, until the complete house is there, done, people moved in, kids are happy, whatever. So we are basically going through this complete process. We have, depending on the season, up to 40 people doing this. We are a company of, as I said, something about 40 in the season, 60 people, so you can imagine how much customer service is. And this is really, yes, it's expensive, but for us it pays off. What are we doing basically? You also see it on the right. We're doing it by email, we're doing it by bot, we're doing a chatbot, we're doing it by phone, basically every channel you choose as a customer. And we're doing this also, I picked up one experience here, we're doing live assembly. So the customer is doing it on his own and standing there and has questions. He just turns his phones on and says, okay, right now I'm here, what I'm supposed to do. And then we guide you through the process. And there are email conversations with the customer before they buy a 5,000 euro house. You have 30 emails going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. For every normal customer service, this is a nightmare. You don't want to have that. You want to get rid of these people even in the step when they bought the product. For us, that's not the case. We are there to handle your project, and this is what we do. And the nice thing is, by doing this, and this is a rather rough management, but a quarter of all sales we do is influenced or had a contact somehow in this phone, email, whatsoever customer service before buying the product. So this customer service basically for us is the main conversion driver. It's better than any online conversion driver you can do on your page whatsoever. This is our conversion driver. If we do this good, if the customer has trust, basically this converts into sales. And on the right side, you see even worse for the complication, the best-selling channel is telephone. So having a real voice, real people behind it, whatsoever. We personally hope that chat is going up, mail is fine, but the main conversion driver and channel is telephone. And this basically we're the only one in the industry right now who's doing it this way. High build-up costs to do it, but for us, this is basically our third USP. So the one is logistics. Second one, as I showed, is these private labels. And the third one is basically customer service. And with this, we're now leading the market and steady growth with 25-30%. We will move in new categories. We will move, as you see, we have garden and house. We will move into house categories. And this is quite interesting for us because basically the Fachhandel is not there yet and they have huge problems to be digital. And that's our key USP and it works. Thanks a lot. Questions?
Testing.
I just wanted to ask, who is your main audience? Because you said that most customers contact you via phone, but maybe it's also related with the type of audience you have.
Sorry, say that again. I didn't get.
What is your audience? Who are the people?
Who are the people who buy garden houses? It's quite simple. Everybody.
Yeah,
so the main. Sorry.
You said that most of customers contact you via phone.
Yeah.
So maybe there is something specific with the audience who prefers contacts via phone, not emails or boot.
Yes, because most people who buy a garden house or something larger in their gardens are beyond their 50s. And if you're beyond your 50s, and the other thing is you buy a product which costs thousands of euros. And this combination right now leads to basically this kind of customer contact. But even younger people, they're contacting us by phone. So phone is a relevant channel, but still, 75% of the sales are not affected by customer service at all.
Hello, Sebastian. On one of your slides, you mentioned how you make an initial entry with a third-party brand, and then afterwards you explained how you try to find the producer and make a higher margin product. Have you ever tried or do you enter a category with a low-quality product at a lower margin, like a price fighter garden house, then when you have traffic and expertise in that category, then introduce a higher quality, higher margin brand?
It's the complete other way around. So, because we are, what we say, we are the leading digital specialist retailer for this. And specialist means really heritage. That means all our products have a certain quality. We are selling mid to premium quality. We don't sell any price entry right now. So we might do it in the future to engage even more audiences, but right now we're not doing it. Why? Because the low quality stuff is sold by DIY. So all the larger DIY chains, they sell this quite cheap stuff. And if you want to do this, you have to compete on price and everything. If our brands become larger, this might be a possible option.
Okay, this goes back maybe to the first question about who your target audience is. Does that mean you're not interested in increasing traffic on your online categories?
We are interested, definitely. But basically, we do it in a different kind of way. We're not interested in, Or right now, we're not interested in people looking for a cheap garden house. We are interested in people who want to know how to get the project done. Because if you look at our page, more than half of the page is content. Yeah, so we have a magazine, we have Ratgeber in German, yeah, so we have everything surrounded by this whole project. And we want to educate people how to do it and basically get in the mind of the customer. And then, basically, if the customer takes this buying decision and wants to try a cheap garden house, right now go to DIY, make a bad experience, and after 2 years, you're with us. So traffic gathering mainly because of all our content we have. We are the main information provider online for everything surrounded by these products.
I think I saw one more question up front. No? Any other questions? A few more. We'll do this side, and then we'll head over to this side.
Hi, Sebastian. Thank you very much for the brilliant presentation. Really, I was so impressed about the way that you are doing all this. It's all about long term. It's about building a higher trust. I think you do a lot of things about trust management because this is it's about a lot of budget. It's also you're not repeating the purchase every couple of months. And also, I was just about to ask how you manage the trust, and you mentioned to the other audience that you do a lot of content. I think that answers my questions.
Okay.
I think really from that, my perspective that you've done everything correct. And I have a question about what is actually the motivation, the drive to enter this business at the very beginning? Because is this because that you or the team have already in the background doing something about it, or just out of sudden and you?
Just two things. The one thing is I come from DIY, so basically I did 7 years DIY, so I know the industry and I know what's happening or what's not happening there, and the speed or the non-speed which is there. And the other thing is, this all started with a small eBay shop. So it was an eBay shop basically selling a couple of garden houses. It was a stationary business, small eBay shop, and we saw the potential in it, basically to grow it and make it a platform which is now quite unique. Yeah?
Okay, that's really good. And I would like to know, because Karen, you mentioned that the target market actually who are deciding for a garden house are more senior people who are not the digital generation. But and do you have also in the same time offline activities to go to like Garden Fest or these typical events to also get access to or a touch point with
Yes, but more we're also selling tiny houses. So a house costs 40, 30, 50,000 euros. We don't sell much of them, but if we sell, it's good. And for this is quite exceptional with all these fairs going on and so on. But for the broader mass, no, that's not attractive for us because there you have all these small, tiny players going. It's not worth it right now. Yeah. But, interesting fact, our customers are more women than men. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's for the future. I think if I'm getting old, I think it will be definitely one of the target clients.
Thank you. 1 second, guys. Okay. I think we have time for 1 or 2 more.
Hi. I have 2 questions. You say you want to be the leading provider of garden houses in Europe. First of all, have you already thought about all the domains that you might need? Do you have the logistic in the other countries?
Yeah. So yes, we did. So we're starting in DACH. Yeah. Okay. But basically, starting next week, we will have more countries. But we do it step by step. Yeah? So we don't want to have a 100% growth. We want to have this 20-25% growth. And so we do it quite slowly. There are 2 other competitors. One is from the Netherlands. One is from the Nordics. But the market is huge. And that's for us, it's attractive.
Okay. technically, what will be like the next steps? Are you planning an app? Are you planning for individualization, something like a configurator for houses?
Yeah, we do have configurators for carports, for canopies, for example. Basically, three things we're doing. The one is countries. Second one is assortment. So we will engage in more projects. Now we do know how to do garden and house projects, and there are 20 to 25 more projects which are separate categories. That's the second one, and the third one is customization. Because if you want to buy a garden house, you want it to be your garden house. It's yours, yeah, and it's emotional and so on. And this is the third part we're engaging in, yeah, to make it your house.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. And we have time for one last question. If there's one last one. Thank you, Sebastian.
Just a quick question, how your team is actually structured. You said you had 40 people. How are you split between tech or customer or logistics?
Yeah. So it's not counting in logistics, yeah, because that's a separate part mainly. And it's growing a little bit over the season, so then you have these 60. But basically half of it is customer service. And then you have category management, you have the all eCommerce IT part, which is a quarter, and then you see category management is 2 people, and then basically you have all the supply chain stuff, because as you can imagine, the whole journey is a complex one, and that's basically it. So we don't have an HR guy, we don't have anything surrounding us right now. So we have a lot to do.
All right, thank you very much, Sebastian, for your time. And will you be here afterwards as
Sure.
well to chat?
If any questions, just come to me.
Thank
Thanks.
you.